Daniel Dubois sensationally dismantled Anthony Joshua in a devastating time of just 5 rounds and sparked the fans with utmost belief and outrage against Joshua.
All these are haters, or pure haters. They're haters, but it is what it is. I don't expect them to like me. I don't like them either, so so it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah, the fighters, I see them, trust me, I see them all. Like, there's a lot of haters out there, but they're not my friends anyway, so it is what it is.
Dubois seemed over the moon when he was asked about the reaction he was going to get after winning the IBF title. Dubois shouted after the fight, drawing huge cheers from the packed stadium. "Are you not entertained?" Joshua's attempt to become a 3-time champion and reclaim his spot at the top of the division ended in dramatic and unexpected fashion. Oladipo asked him about his opinion about switching the game pace after hitting the heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua this big. He said, "I'm a gladiator. I am a warrior to the end. I want to reach the top level of this sport and realize my potential." Anthony Joshua's performance against Daniel Dubois was actually poor. He struggled to find his rhythm throughout the fight. He was knocked down multiple times, unable to match Dubois' speed or power, and looked overwhelmed from the start. Eddie Hearn spoke about the difficulty of Anthony Joshua's defeat and pointed out that while the fight started poorly for Joshua, there were still some positive takeaways. Hearn emphasized Joshua's resilience and determination despite the tough start, admiring his refusal to give up even in the face of adversity.
It's a difficult defeat, but, you know, at this point you have to try and take any positives you can, and it's difficult because the start was disastrous. And the only positives I can take is the unbelievable heart and guts and nuts that he showed.
Eddie Hearn believed that Joshua embodied this mindset during the fight, even when his legs were unsteady and he was struggling, still trying to land powerful punches and find a way back into the bout. Despite Joshua's poor performance and numerous mistakes, Hearn remarked that Joshua was still close to turning the fight around, particularly in the 4th and 5th rounds.
The amount of times I've heard over the years a fighter say, you know, I will rather get knocked out than try and survive or lose on points. I will go out on my shield. He went out on his shield. Even when he didn't have his legs, he was trying to land the right hand and he was trying to find a way back in the fight. And remarkably, as bad as he performed tonight, or as many as mistakes that he made, he still could have won the fight. You know, 4th round he hurt Dubois, 5th round Dubois' legs buckled, and at that point I think this is going to be one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen. But walked on to a crushing right hand, and unfortunately there was no getting up from the last one.
Frank Warren, the man who chose Daniel 10 years ago from a sparring session with Anthony Joshua, and now that boy has made history by hitting one of the best pound-for-pound heavyweights off his feet. Warren confidently talked about his belief in Daniel Dubois' ability to win the fight. He had previously predicted that the fighter who moved backward would lose, and he felt Dubois was more than capable of controlling the fight. Warren said, "I just generally felt that, you know, whoever went on the back foot, as I said on numerous occasions, they would lose, and I knew Daniel was capable. He's got a fabulous jab, a fabulous jab. And it's not just about big punches, it's jab and Saint sets everything up." Warren went on to praise Dubois' overall performance, highlighting his head movement and determination. Even though Dubois got caught a few times during the fight, Warren saw it as a testament to his fighter's toughness. Dubois gritted his teeth and fought back, showing both his physical and mental resilience to get the job done. Warren continued, "He just boxed extremely well and his head movement was great. He did get caught as well, which in some ways I don't want to see, but it shows he's got grit. He gritted his teeth and he came back and done what he had to do." Frank Warren expressed his concerns about the possibility of a future fight between Daniel Dubois and Tyson Fury. Given the immense power both fighters possess, Warren admitted he would feel uneasy about the matchup, while he acknowledged that the decision would ultimately rest with the fighters themselves.
It's a fight, I'm going to tell you the truth, I'd feel uncomfortable in making. Because of the two guys, I really would feel uncomfortable about that. But if in, you know, some down the line, if they felt they wanted to go down in that, do that, that's their choice.
Following Anthony Joshua's devastating knockout loss to Daniel Dubois, many voices in the boxing world are calling for him to retire. Fans and pundits alike have expressed concern about the former champion's ability to continue at the highest level, especially after being knocked down 4 times in just 5 rounds. Prince Nassim Hamed reflected on his prediction for the Joshua-Dubois fight, admitting that he had initially expected Anthony Joshua to stop Daniel Dubois within 3 rounds. Hamed, however, was happy to be proven wrong, acknowledging that Dubois was the better man on the night.
I predicted that AJ would take him out in 3 rounds. And I love saying how wrong am I. I've said it to every camera tonight. And I'm happy to be wrong because the best man won tonight. 5 years ago, I predicted Daniel Dubois will come through and beat them all.
Prince Hamid then expressed that he believes it's time for Joshua to retire from the sport. He mentioned winning and defending world titles, but felt that Joshua should now exit the ring with dignity. Hamid emphasized that Joshua has had his moment in the spotlight and should bow out before taking further damage.
He's had his day in the sun like we all have. He's done great. He won an amazing world titles. He's defended them. He's earned his dough. Listen, he should bow out gracefully, and that's it done, because when he gets hit on the chin, we don't want to talk about that right now.
Prince Nassim Hamid shared his admiration for Daniel Dubois, emphasizing the fighter's determination and drive. Hamid highlighted Dubois' intense desire to succeed, which he noticed during the fight. He praised Dubois for being a powerful force in the ring, referring to him as a smasher and expressing his excitement for Dubois' future in the sport. He said, "My man, Triple D is a smasher. I'm telling you, he's got so much desire, and I saw it in his eyes, and I love that." The 27-year-old Dubois knocked Joshua down several times to retain his IBF heavyweight title, jeopardizing his domestic rival's career. He once again proved himself the best of the best in front of 96,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. Standing right next to his father and talking to IFL TV, Sammy Adam, a rising figure in British boxing, expressed his surprise at Daniel Dubois' performance and how it has impacted the heavyweight division. He noted that Dubois' win has opened up new opportunities for other young and ambitious fighters to rise through the ranks. Adam believes that Dubois' victory has set the stage for more hungry fighters to get their chance in the spotlight, just as Dubois did with his triumph. Adam said, "I was seriously shocked. I think Triple D has smacked the heavyweight game right open now for a lot of young hungry lions to come up and hopefully get their shot like Dubois did tonight." Londoner Dubois finished Joshua, 34, with an incredible counter right hook, securing the biggest victory of his 24-fight career. AJ, who claimed his first world title over 8 years ago, suffered his 4th defeat in his 32nd bout, but suggested he would continue, hinting at a rematch clause with Dubois. He said, "You know I'm ready to kick off in the ring, but I'm going to stay respectful. Before I came here, I always told myself I'm a fighter for life. You keep rolling the dice." Eddie Hearn discussed the rematch clause following Anthony Joshua's loss to Daniel Dubois, acknowledging the contractual agreement for a fight in Riyadh that could potentially include a rematch with Dubois. Hearn admitted that Joshua had one of his worst performances but gave credit to Dubois for his outstanding showing. He noted that Dubois applied early pressure, which played a significant role in Joshua's poor start, ultimately leading to his defeat.
Yeah, I mean, we have a contracted fight with Riyadh season that could include the Daniel Dubois rematch. I think we need time. You know, I mean, I don't think he could have boxed much worse tonight, but you have to give Dubois brilliant, plenty of credit. He was brilliant tonight. He put the pressure on. We knew that he'd be dangerous in the early part of the fight, and the start couldn't have been.
Eddie Hearn continued to reflect on the possibility of a rematch, expressing that Anthony Joshua firmly believes he can perform much better and beat Daniel Dubois in a second fight. However, Hearn also noted that Dubois, after such a commanding victory, would enter a rematch brimming with confidence. Hearn added, "AJ will believe that he can box much better and beat him, but Dubois is going to be full of confidence." Anthony Joshua, after his defeat, reflected on the journey and expressed his belief in keeping a positive mindset despite the loss. He emphasized that they took a shot at success, and though they didn't achieve the desired result, it was important to hold their heads high. Joshua pointed out that over the course of his career, he has had 13 world title fights, with not all being successful, but all have been entertaining and full of lessons.
Firstly, always walk with your head high. We took a shot at success and we came up short, unfortunately. We rolled the dice, man, for the third time. There's 13 world title fights. Not everyone's been successful, but everyone's been fun and entertaining.
AJ addressed the ongoing speculations about his potential retirement, expressing his determination to continue fighting despite the recent defeat and the suggestions from many in the boxing world. He made it clear that he remains committed to the sport, emphasizing that setbacks are part of the journey and running away is not an option for him. Joshua said, "Probably you're asking, do I still want to continue fighting? Of course, I want to continue fighting. That's what I said. We took a shot at success and we came up short. And what does that mean now? We're going to run away or we're going to live to fight another day. And that's what I am. I'm a warrior." He also took a moment to give credit to his opponent, Daniel Dubois, recognizing his performance in the fight. While Joshua usually blocks out his feelings toward his opponents during preparation, he showed sportsmanship by acknowledging Dubois' achievement after the fight was over. Joshua added, "Before I finish, we have to give credit to our opponent as well, Daniel. Even though when I sign up to fight opponents, I don't really like them in my head anymore, but now it's done. I take my hat off to him and say well done to to him and his team. Following Daniel Dubois' stunning victory over Anthony Joshua, attention has turned to the heavyweight division's future. The winner of the highly anticipated rematch between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, set for December, could face Dubois in what would be a massive unification bout. Both Fury and Usyk, who were ringside during the Dubois-Joshua fight, have acknowledged Dubois' potential as a serious contender. Alexander Usyk explained the dangers of certain defensive techniques, particularly highlighting the risk of stepping back incorrectly during a fight. He noted that pulling back in the wrong manner, rather than maintaining a proper defensive stance, leaves a fighter vulnerable.
And then you have one problem, because this position is dangerous. If you wanna do step back like this, not like this, because this is dangerous.
An ecstatic Dubois savored the crowning moment that had eluded him after being elevated to world champion when Alexander Usyk vacated the belt. Only 4 of their 49 combined wins had gone the distance, and the expected early knockdown came from underdog Dubois in the first round, landing a devastating overhand right in the closing seconds. While walking out of the Wembley Stadium at Fight Night, Shane Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, commented on Anthony Joshua's performance in his fight against Daniel Dubois. Despite Joshua's loss, Shane was impressed by his resilience and willingness to fight until the end, acknowledging that Joshua gained respect in his eyes for the way he fought through adversity. Shane Fury said, "Very good fight. Joshua again went up in my book, even seeing what took place. He went out on his shield. You can't ask anything else about that." Tyson Fury also talked about the fight and reflected on the nature of heavyweight boxing after Anthony Joshua's loss, emphasizing how unpredictable the division can be. Fury acknowledged that getting knocked out is part of the risk that comes with being a heavyweight fighter, and it could happen to anyone in the division. He stressed that no one is immune to being knocked out, as it's a reality all fighters face. Fury said, "It's heavyweight boxing, boys. It happens. You get knocked spark out. It could have been me. It could have been you. It could have been anybody in the heavyweight division. It's what happens." One away from being smashed, knocked out. Tyson Fury stated that he initially saw it as an even matchup. He noted the significant age difference between the two fighters, with Dubois being much younger at 27 and Joshua at 35, emphasizing that age eventually catches up with everyone.
I thought it was a 50-50 fight. God's honest truth. Dubois is a lot younger, and he's 26, 7-year-old. The other man's 35, same age as me. Age don't wait for anybody, does it? It is what it is. And listen, you get caught with them punches, and you don't see many heavyweights get hit, get knocked down, get back up to you, and continue on.
Joshua hit the canvas and hadn't fully recovered in the second round. Dubois relentlessly pressured, finding success with his strong jab. Perhaps Joshua was still haunted by sparring stories from years ago, where Dubois reportedly rocked him. Lennox Lewis spoke highly of Daniel Dubois' achievement, acknowledging how long Dubois had been dreaming of becoming a world champion. Lewis praised Dubois for turning his dream into reality through hard work and dedication, noting that this moment had been a long time coming for the young fighter. Lewis said he's happy. He's been dreaming about this moment for a long time. He said he's dreamt about being world champion. Well, you dreamt it into reality, you did the work, and now you are world champion. He went on to address the criticism Dubois had faced in the past when he was handed the belt, explaining that now, with this victory, Dubois had earned the title in a way that no one could dispute. Lewis added, "Before, when they gave you the belt, people were saying, they shouldn't give him the belt. Now he earned that belt. He's the heavyweight champion of the world." Lennox Lewis analyzed Anthony Joshua's tactics during the fight and pointed out a key flaw that contributed to his defeat. He noted that Joshua came out with his chin up, which is a risky position, especially when facing a powerful right-handed puncher like Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot we can see about the fight that happened. AJ did come out even with his chin up a little bit, and I was like, I need to put that chin down, because against a right-handed boxer where he's been throwing right hands, knocking out people all the time, that's just you're opening the door for him by keeping your chin up. So I know Daniel Dubois was looking at him and saying, okay, there's that chin for me.
That'll do.
Let me throw that right hand.
Alexander Usyk's promoter, Alex Krasiuk, shared his astonishment at Anthony Joshua's performance against Daniel Dubois. While he acknowledged Dubois' youth, power, and aggression, Krasiuk expressed disappointment in how different Joshua appeared compared to his past self. He noted that Joshua showed no defense or motivation, which left Krasiuk puzzled.
Surprised, astonished. I didn't expect that. Well, I did expect, because we know Daniel Dubois is young. He has the punch, he's aggressive, he has the power. But AJ used to be a different man. Zero defense, zero motivation. I can't even comment on that. I have absolutely no idea. His team behaved not in the right manner, so they jumped into the ring before the count was over after the first knockdown. So the bell didn't ring and they were like they never heard the rules.
Alex Krassyuk continued to express his disappointment in Anthony Joshua's performance, pointing out that Joshua lacked offensive pressure during the fight. He noted that Joshua didn't show any aggression, which is usually a key aspect of his fighting style. This absence of offense made it easy for Daniel Dubois to feel comfortable and in control throughout the bout. Krassyuk said, "I couldn't notice anything special because AJ did not perform any offense. I mean, he did not perform any aggression, and he did not look dangerous for Daniel." Krassyuk further explained that Joshua's lack of both offense and defense contributed to Dubois' calm demeanor. He specifically mentioned that Joshua's right hand remained positioned on his chest, which limited his ability to protect himself or pose a threat to Dubois. Krassyuk added, "That's for that reason Daniel felt himself pretty calm and relaxed because there was no danger, and there was no defense in his opponent. I mean, AJ's right hand was all the time on his chest." Dillian Whyte observed that Joshua seemed focused on setting up the big right hand by jabbing to the head and body, but felt that this strategy wasn't executed effectively, especially in the early rounds. According to Whyte, Joshua spent too much time thinking rather than being aggressive and throwing punches. Whyte said, "AJ seemed to be off. I could see he's trying to jab to the head and jab to the body to look for the big right hand, but you can't just go out and try and do it in the first round." Whyte also pointed out that Dubois, while aggressive, was making mistakes of his own. However, Joshua's hesitance and overthinking allowed Dubois to gain control, as Joshua didn't throw his hands enough to capitalize on those openings. Whyte added, "And Dubois was making his own mistakes. He was aggressive, but AJ was spending too much time thinking and letting him throw his hands." The 2012 Olympic gold medalist was reeling in the third round as Dubois unleashed a left hook, causing Joshua to touch the canvas with his glove. It wasn't counted as a knockdown, but Dubois continued his onslaught, sending Joshua down again. Joshua was dropped twice more in the third, with one ruled a slip, but the writing was on the wall. Unified champion Usyk and Tyson Fury, who have a rematch in December, watched from ringside, hardly believing how the fight unfolded. Dillian Whyte continued by addressing the possible impact of Joshua's success on his current performance. He suggested that while Joshua might still have the desire to fight, the spark and fire that once drove him may not be as strong anymore. Whyte noticed that during the fight, Joshua seemed to hold on a lot rather than fighting back aggressively after getting hurt.
And then, sometimes it's hard, man. You make a lot of money, he's got a lot of fame. Maybe the desire is not, the desire is still there, but I don't want to say the wrong word, but maybe that spark is not necessarily there as much as because he just seemed to be holding on a lot. He got hurt. He didn't try to really fight back. He was just holding on a lot. So I don't know, man. But if he continues, great. If he retires, great. He's done great things regardless,
Daniel Dubois' father reflected on his son's victory with great pride, sharing how much faith he had in Daniel's ability to succeed, even when many doubted him. He expressed confidence that the fight would go in Daniel's favor, despite predictions that Daniel would be knocked out. After his son's impressive performance, those same critics were silenced and quickly left the arena.
That's why we came out with Daniel in the Lions Den. I'm a great believer. I'm a great believer. I've got a lot of faith. And I knew tonight was Daniel's night.
He was so
because
dominant.
Everyone was saying he was going to get knocked out, and now they all got quiet and left the venue in 10 seconds.
After a more competitive fourth round, Joshua landed a clean punch for the first time in the fifth, which only spurred Dubois into action. A counter right hand, a punch that will be remembered by Dubois and everyone in attendance, sent Joshua down for the final time. The former British boxing star scrambled across the canvas, desperately trying to rise but couldn't beat the count. Joshua's lack of defense and inability to recover ultimately led to a decisive and one-sided defeat. Even when AJ declared after this fight that this fight was not going to be his end, he would love to continue to shot. Still, there are retirement suggestions coming, like Ricky Hatton sharing his thoughts on Anthony Joshua's career, expressing his belief that Joshua has achieved everything he needed to and should consider retirement. Hatton praised Joshua for being a two-time heavyweight champion and acknowledged his significant contributions to British boxing.
And he's been a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He's had a fantastic fight, and I'd like to see him retire, mate. To be honest with you, I don't like seeing me. But I mean, he's been a great servant to British boxing, and I think I'd like to see him retire. He's got nothing left to prove. Got nothing else to prove.
Joe Joyce also shared his reaction to Daniel Dubois' victory, expressing his amazement at the outcome. He acknowledged the powerful punches that Dubois landed throughout the fight, which put Anthony Joshua in trouble multiple times. Joyce was impressed by Dubois' ability to take control of the fight with those big shots and praised the overall intensity of the bout. Joyce said, "I'm lost for words, but there's some heavy leverage there. And what a win for Daniel. He hit him with some big shots and had him in trouble quite a few times there. Yeah, great fight." Will Joshua learn from this, or has Dubois secured his place at the top? If you liked the video, do we watch more videos coming on the screen in a while, and subscribe so we can connect together. Stay tuned for more boxing updates and share your predictions.